first most basic point that you can start your user research journey from is going to be user personas. This is where things get interesting. So when you're just starting out with UX design, when you're just starting out with user research, user personas are the most simple first step you can take. So just to follow along to this video, to the way we're going to be doing things today, just click on plus, open up a new Figjam board, and you can just get started off of that. It's just as simple as that, nothing complicated about it at all. And now that we have this sorted out, the first thing we're going to do is create a new user persona. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the plus option and just search for user persona. And I feel like this is just the simplest thing you can do to create a user persona. And we're just going to take the user persona Figjam template and add it over here. I get the feeling that some people have where it's like you should make your own user persona, and you should. But in the very beginning, when you're absolutely clueless, rather than being stuck on the blank page syndrome, I feel like it's just really easy to take the template, work with it, add a couple of points, and when you get comfortable with what this is in user research, then you can sort of get started with each of these individually. Alright, so let's just get started. So the very first thing that we're going to take a look at here is the different things that you get in the user persona template in Figjam. So it's this template in itself is good for identifying the needs of your users, so you can improve your product or service accordingly. You can use this from 1 to as many people as you want, and then it's just a bunch of quick tips. But I feel like all of these are going to be covered as we go through this video, so let's just get into the interesting stuff now. So the very first thing you need to do is add a name, and I feel like this is going to be the point where you're going to start entering actual user information into the user persona, and as we go about building this, it's going to become really clear why. So let's just get started. The first thing we can do is add a name. Let's add any name that we can think of. Let's do Maya Patel, the simplest name in front of me. And now this is going to be the archetype basic user that's going to be for your whole product or service. The next thing that I feel like we need to add over here is age. Let's do a simple age, 29. An occupation which is quite important in this use case is a freelancer who's let's talk about the occupation for a little bit. All right, so for this specific case, Maya Patel is a freelancer who has been freelancing for 2 years after leaving an agency. She loves to freelance but would like to get more clients. So let's just add a freelance. Hold up. Are we live? Yes, we are. Alright, so we are going to put it in an occupation which is going to be a freelancer. Very simple stuff, and I feel like this is going to be really relatable also to the people who are watching this. Alright, now we can add any location we'd want. Let's just do the simple Delhi, India, which is sort of where we're based. And now we're going to talk about a little bit of the extra information. So Figma templates basically always give you the more info options, and this is really important when you want to add certain information that's very relevant to the product that you're building. So for more information today, we have: she left her agency job to do freelancing. She likes flexibility but struggles with stable income. So she left some more information that you'd want to enter here is: she left her agency job, likes freelancing, but would like a stable income. And I feel like this is the case with most freelancers out there. Stable income wanted. All right. Another piece of more information that you'd want to put over here is: she's tried job boards, networking, and cold emailing, none of which work. So a couple of things that you would add over here is: has tried job boards, cold emails, and this is just coming together as we put it down. LinkedIn networking, and it hasn't worked. Which hasn't worked. Alright, and now that we have this sorted out, so we have all of the facts that are related to this person in front of us, now we're going to be able to design the mindset of this person, get into each of the singular details that we have over here, and we're sort of going to get started from that point on. So now we're going to talk about the bio. Any information that's related to the user could be in the bio, and you could add lorem ipsum text here as well if you don't want to overload in the very beginning. So you can add anything you want over here. All right, and you can also add a couple of social media links. So for example, I would put the Behance link if she's a UI/UX designer, just the Behance link, the Dribble link, and I'm just putting stuff over here just so you get an idea of the user that we're going to talk about. So you have your Behance link, you have your Dribble link, and then you also have your other portfolio link if there's any portfolio website. Alright, so now that we have all of these sorted out in front of us, we're also going to talk about the personality of this user. So this is where things get kind of fun. So you can basically choose any of these that you would want, but this becomes a very, very clear defining factor when it comes to the user interface. So when this person is introverted, it automatically makes sense why they would have trouble with networking people. And if they're a little bit more creative than an analytical, then a freelance designer actually makes sense. If they're busy versus they're time rich, so I feel like in this case they are time rich, but in terms of money they want a little bit more stable income, and that has to be in the back of our minds always while designing. Are they messy or are they organized? I feel like everyone who's a creative always struggles from the squirrel brain syndrome, where you're always going after one thing, forgetting the other. So messy can be a part of this, and that can still be fine. Are they independent or are they a team player? I feel like from a freelancer's point of view, independent is the more highly likely scenario, and you could interview a real person for this as well, and independent is going to be what we're going to put for this one. The passive and active options which are available. So I feel like for this specific use case, we're going to put in active because of course freelancers have to be really, really active and on their feet. And I'm just talking about any example for now. Is this safe or a risky kind of person? I feel like if someone just quits their agency job to go freelance on their own, they are a little bit risky, and we can safely assume that about them, especially in this imaginary person. And you can add any image here that you'd want. I feel like I should get an image, but this image is also fine. It's completely fine. And this is where things actually get interesting. So we're going to talk about the user's real interests. So the user definitely has some interests which are, hold on, are we live? Yes, we are. So I feel like the user can have a couple of interests which can include designing, which is what they're doing, designing UIs, then again I feel like another interest could be UI UX trends, because most designers would want to know trends that are going on and which are latest. And also another interest could be building a strong brand online. So building a strong brand online, this is again a very, very hoped for option when it comes to freelancing for most designers. Now, then we're also going to talk about influences. What are the factors that are influencing them? Designers like Pablo Stanley and Femke. So designers, of course, the legends Pablo Stanley and Femke. Again, another factor that could be influencing them is online design communities such as Dribble and Behance. So Dribble, Behance awards are stuff that makes not only designers jealous, but also really, really interested in what we're doing. And all of these are triple alphabet things. All right, the next influence that they could have now is freelancers who've successfully scaled their businesses. So other successful freelancers could also be a factor that's influencing them. All right. Whoops, I feel like I did a terrible job writing that down. This was Dribble, this was awards, and let's do etc., because many other such design communities do exist. And then another influence that they could have is successful freelance designers, because this is where the current user is struggling, right? This tool is Figjam, which is a part of Figma, and it's perfect for user research. EWS asks, so I'm answering that question. Another couple of goals that the user could have are securing a consistent, high paying chain of freelance clients. So now we're going to talk about the goals of this user, right? So what are the goals a freelance designer could have? This could be securing recurring clients which pay highly. Another goal that this person could have is improving their personal branding and marketing. So this is again a very, very sought out goal for people who are just starting out freelancing, improving their personal brand. All right, another thing that they could have as a goal is becoming a recognized expert in UI UX design. So again, this is again a very, very sought out goal as well, becoming a recognized expert in here, right? So with that, we've basically figured out what the interests are, what the influences are, and what the goals are for this person. Now we're going to talk about the needs and expectations, because this is also very, very important for this user. So from our product or service, this user is needing or expecting certain things. What are the things that they are needing or expecting from our product or service? They are expecting a predictable client acquisition system. So they want a predictable, not something that's flimsy, not something that's here today, gone tomorrow, a predictable client acquisition system, right? Because they want these clients to be coming every single month, every single week, and they don't want them to go away. They don't want our platform to go away. So predictable client acquisition system. Another thing that they could want is a way to showcase their work effectively, because when you want clients to come in, clients have to firstly trust you to come in, and in order for them to trust you to come in, you need to have a clear system to show off your work, right? To show off your work. To show, hold up, my typing is poor at best, but anyways, another need and expectation that the user could have is clear guidance on pricing and negotiations. Every single one of you who has freelanced knows that when you're freelancing, when you're just starting out, getting a couple of clients and getting them to get the right price, getting the right negotiation becomes very important. So tips on pricing and negotiation could be a good want, right? Negotiation. All right, so these are the needs and expectations. Now another factor that we're going to talk about in the user persona itself is what are the motivations of the user, and this is why a user persona is so important. When you have clearly mapped out every single thing that this user thinks, needs, wants separately, now you're designing an actual product which is solving real problems, which is actually able to pay you money instead of just being confusing and beating around the bush. So what are the motivations of this person? The motivations could be financial stability and independence, right? So financial stability is the motivation for this person. Another motivation that this person could have is the ability to work on meaningful projects. So ability to work on meaningful projects. Another thing that the user could have as a motivation is freedom to set their own schedule, which is the reason most people take up freelancing. Freedom to decide their own schedule and avoid burnout. To decide their own schedule, right? So now schedule. All right, so with that, we've basically told ourselves and others on the team what the interests are, what influences are, what the goals are, and what the needs and expectations are, and most importantly what the motivations are. And now we're going to get to the sixth and most important point, which is pain points and frustrations. So let's talk about what the pain points are that this user is currently having, and this becomes a really, really important part of your actual user research, because now when you have the pain points and frustrations that the user has, now you can actually design a product or service that is solving those specific problems, and now you're able to charge the user instantly. So this is why pain points and frustrations really, really important. Pain points and frustrations that the user could have is inconsistent income and unreliable clients. So either the clients are running away or the income is just not clear, right? So inconsistent income is a problem. Another problem is unreliable clients. Another problem that the user could have is struggling with self promotion and outreach. And this is such a common problem for just beginning freelancers, struggling with self promotion. Right? So, with that, we've basically mapped out every single thing of interest to us as the person who creates the product or service that solves this user's problem. And I know people love to hype a good user persona, people love to hype all of these weird and complicated UX design concepts. But if you wanted to know what user personas are, this is a good starting point. Now, if you want to take this further, I would recommend just clicking on this button and changing this image, replacing this image. But basically, I feel like we've just started streaming within 15 minutes. We've figured out everything you need to know in the beginning of a user persona. This is all about user personas, nothing else. Like, you can obviously increase as much as you want, but this is user persona. Hello humans, if you like that explanation of user personas, we also have the other three key concepts compiled into a crash course right here, and we also have the complete playlist for user research concepts that you should not miss. So just click here or here, go to the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.